new Kawasaki Versys-X 300 has obvious entry-level appeal, with its lightweight, mellow power delivery and affordable price tag. But after spending 2 days roaming around southern Utah, we're convinced that this motorcycle is much more than a simple starter bike.
The Versys-X is really kind of an interesting motorcycle. I mean, Kawasaki is expanding its 300 line and it's targeting entry-level riders with a fairly new type of motorcycle, at least compared to what's available on the market today. This entry adventure-style touring-capable bike that's lightweight and affordable. It's a really interesting formula, and they've executed it really well with the Versys-X 300. They took the basic same engine that's in the Ninja 300. They didn't mess with the essential architecture too much. They did update the airbox to improve airflow, and they extended the header pipes on the exhaust, and this all kind of just to help improve the low to mid range of the bike. And really, power delivery, this thing is really smooth. You don't get gobs of torque or power anywhere. It's a 296cc parallel twin. It's super smooth in its delivery. What you get early in the revs is pretty similar to what you get when you approach the red line. It's at 13,000 RPM. It's really smooth too. I mean, vibration free, essentially, at any part in the rev range, which makes it really nice cruising down the highway. We've been, holding steady speeds out here in Utah. I mean, some of these freeways are 80 miles an hour, and barely feel a buzz at all in the pegs, in the seat, in the bars. Really, basically nothing. Another interesting feature of this bike is the fact that Kawasaki includes an assistant slipper clutch. It's kind of becoming a standard feature on a lot of their bikes, especially in this entry-level range, and it just makes for a really, really light clutch pull, the lever pull, and keeps the back wheel from hopping if you jam down the gearbox really hard. And I got to say that the clutch lever especially is feather light. I'm talking it takes more pressure to push down a stapler than it does to pull in this clutch lever. The frame is all new as well. It's a single unit piece. They don't have a rear subframe, and the engine's a stress member, and that with their Showa fork and the KYB shock out back, it provides a really stable ride, really comfortable ride. In fact, the suspension setup itself is pretty stiff. I was surprised at how adept it was off-road, how well it soaked up bumps when you were going 30-40 miles an hour and you hit that big rock sticking out of the ground, or roll over some ripples in a dirt road. It's not going to get you at the motocross track, but you're going to be able to warm up fire roads no problem. And rolling through corners at speed on the asphalt is really smooth too. The handling on this thing is phenomenal. It's a really lightweight bike, a couple pounds more than the Ninja 300. You just have to think about going into a turn, and you're there. You're diving in, and you can make corrections mid-corner. It's really, really smooth. And all these factors together create a really approachable bike. Shorter riders may have a little bit of an issue touching down on the ground. It's a 32.1 inch seat height, and it's not extremely high, but you get on an uphill or some uneven ground or something like that, and riders with a shorter inseam may have a little trouble. But again, the bike is so light and so maneuverable that it's kind of a balance there. The throttle and the fuel injection are perfectly dialed. I mean, you can't jerk this thing around. You can be completely ham-fisted at the throttle, and it'll just kind of gently move you forward and gently slow down. It's a really dialed package. The fit and finish are pretty quality as well. I mean, from the windscreen to the indentations on the tank to the grab bars and the little lash down platform that they include standard on the Versys-X 300. I mean, Kawasaki have taken a lot of time to provide a motorcycle that looks good and performs well for its intended audience. The Nissan brake package is solid. It's could be a little bit more refined. The front brake lever feels a little little wooden. I mean, there's not a lot of initial bite. It doesn't offer a whole lot of progressive feel. You're sort of, on off. Luckily, there's a Bosch ABS system on there, so you're not going to lock things up. But it would be nice to feel that friction on the plate a little sooner and be able to modulate pressure a little bit more than what you get it currently. Rear brake is the same. Noticed ABS a lot on the rear brake when we played around off-road. There was almost no way to lock up that rear wheel. As soon as you jam on that rear brake, ABS kicks in and you just keep rolling. Kawasaki has accessory market, aftermarket in mind as well with the Versys-X 300. They want people to be able to tailor this thing to their needs, their wants, and they built this thing with mounting points for factory crash bars and port for an optional DC outlet, and they've got hard luggage, top case and saddlebags. They've got hand guards, things that are basically all just bolt on and go. They built the bike with these in mind and included mounting points for stuff just to make life easier for folks that want to get adventuresome and take this thing on a tour. The one knock I do have for this bike is the seat. It feels like you're sitting on a block of wood. It is not all day comfortable. Luckily, it's comfortable and easy enough to stand on the bike, so you can get some relief there. But if you want to take this thing on a couple 100-mile trip, you're going to want to put some sort of padding on there because it's a pretty thick and pretty stiff seat. But with that small upgrade, I mean, this is a bike that you legitimately could take for hundreds of miles and be completely comfortable. Again, it's not a powerhouse in terms of engine performance and things like that, but you're going to be able to cruise, you're going to be able to tackle mountain corners and have quite a bit of fun. I mean, sure, you'll be top of fifth gear, maybe, playing around in sixth as you do it, but you're riding a motorcycle to almost its full potential, and there's something fun to be said about that. And the touring potential of this bike also makes it, kind of an appealing motorcycle to entry-level riders in a way some of these other, motorcycles in this segment aren't. I mean, if you get your chops as a rider and you decide that, I don't necessarily need more power, but I really want to be able to explore more. I want to take camping trips, and I want to go see grandma on the other side of the country. I mean, this bike will do it. The Versys-X 300 will absolutely do that. All in all, I think Kawasaki really did a good job with this bike. I mean, the Versys-X 300 has appeal to a broad range of riders. It has the potential to really entice newer riders who may not have ever had an interest in cruisers or sport bikes or things like that are currently on the market. And with just the attention to detail and the fact that within the performance parameters that the engine and all the other parts sort of put on this bike, I think Kawasaki has created a motorcycle within those boundaries that performs admirably.